everybody, and welcome back to the
Third
Opinion Podcast. 5th episode
of a third.
Opinion Podcast. The 5th episode.
I'm real proud of you. You made it through that without laughing.
It's real hard. Every time that song is such a goofy song, I laugh, like every single time.
You can see the sweat on your brow.
Excuse me.
Messages incoming.
Message incoming. We have a guest today.
Very special guest.
Welcome, Ethan. You're our guest.
Welcome me.
I'm kidding. It's my mom, you guys.
Yay.
Hello, Mama. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Angel.
I had to pull some teeth to get you here.
You'd wait till I finish mowing the yard.
So tell us a little bit about being my mom.
What part? Good, the bad, the ugly? What?
We're moving on. Okay.
Topic done.
Topic done. But our topics today are good topics. I just get back from a camping trip. Fun time. Love it. All about venturing crew. And that's that. So, Mama.
Yes.
My dear mother.
Yeah.
Kimberly.
Yes.
Mama.
You opened up the first liquor store in McMinnville.
Yes.
Historic.
Yes.
Very important.
Absolutely.
I guess a good first question would be, what was one of the biggest hurdles opening a store like that?
Well, actually, I guess the first hurdle would be actually getting the referendum and everything passed, which had nothing to do, directly with me and my partner. It had to do with all the citizens. Mm-hmm. And, the last vote that went around actually only failed by 15 votes. So this time everybody felt like it was going to be a sure thing. And so absolutely, Christy Ross, and there were a lot of people who spearheaded and spent a lot of hours going around getting petitions signed and standing on street corners,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of work went into it, and which absolutely made a lot of sense. And so last November, almost a year ago, it got voted in and made a lot of people happy. A lot of people were very upset by it,
Mm-hmm.
but by and large, obviously, the majority spoke, or at least the majority who voted spoke, and it came to pass this time. And so now liquor is legal in packaged retail liquor is available in McMinnville. And so it is absolutely an historic event.
Mm-hmm.
So
Incredible
it's
precedent.
very, absolutely incredible, unbelievable, because you've got to look at it whether or not you are an alcohol drinker. It has really, it doesn't, it plays into it, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't have a lot to do with a lot of things on a scale of being a citizen, because for so many years, as long as Manchester and all the surrounding counties have been around, our tax dollars have been going outside of this area, Warren County,
And McMinnville, yeah.
all around. I was told on very good authority that for 1 year alone, and this has been at least probably, I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, for packaged beer sales inside the city limits alone, I may be just a little off on this, but for 1 year, again, the packaged beer sales for 1 year inside the city limits, the tax raised was $1.2 or $1.4 million.
Which is a lot of tax money.
That is just inside the city limits.
Especially for a small town like this.
Yes.
That's
it could go to a lot of
huge
stuff.
dip.
So
Yeah.
can you imagine the amount of liquor taxes that one liquor store alone are going to bring to our city and county, and subsequently all the areas and things that are going to help? We're hoping that our store alone is going to be, we've got high hopes, and we're hoping that our store alone is going to be able to pay, just in taxes for a year, are going to be able to pay the entire police force's salary for a year.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
It
Right.
is entirely
It's 100%
possible.
You know how those sales go.
Right,
Yeah, definitely.
absolutely. We are now, this past Friday, we celebrated our 6-week mark. So we've been open 6 weeks, and already our sales have been, phenomenal. We never, and we don't even have our sign up yet because we've got just a vinyl sign because
Yeah.
we've had a lot of trouble getting our sign, but
Right.
now with the help of our sign folks, we're getting our lighted sign, and hopefully when the fair comes and goes, we'll have that underway, and we've got a lighted sign. We're located in the Plaza Shopping Center across from Citizens Tri-County Bank, and I think it'll be all right to throw that little plug in there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But it's incredibly exciting, incredibly exciting.
Definitely.
I feel like one thing that I found really interesting, what you just said, was the mentioning of kind of the petitioning and going around and getting all the different petition signed and stuff. I feel like that's something that not a lot of people think about. Especially myself. I didn't. I'm not a drinker myself. Not a huge part of it either myself. But I do recognize the big benefits of tax dollars.
Right.
Because it really is, and it's something you have to consider. But I really think that kind of behind the scenes piece is something that
A lot of people don't
really
see.
don't consider.
Yeah,
Right.
really.
Well, it's tax dollars that have been going to, I know, very recently, and we obviously we wish nobody else. We wish nobody any. It's just a matter. It's our fiscal responsibility to take care of our own
Of course.
city, our own
Of course.
county, and but I know that those tax dollars, and now being in this business, I know firsthand that, for example, one of the liquor stores in a county very close, obviously one of our adjoining counties, one of our distributors told us that they, on the norm, will order 90 cases of liquor, and then that second week we were open, their order was only 10 cases. So if that gives you any idea, we
Yeah.
have 7 distributors, and that was one of our distributors. And so can you imagine the tax dollars we pay when we accept the order? We pay, they tax us, and then in turn we pay a tax on it, and then another tax is also levied on that product, which is the sales tax. So we pay a tax, and then another tax is put on it. So that is a lot of tax going around, and all that tax was going to Woodbury, to Manchester, to Sparta, to Smithville, and
Surrounding
now
cities and counties.
yes,
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of
yes.
those places in the other counties, they're right on the line.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
Absolutely, and also, we've had several, our friends in Manchester, and they have always put an ad in the Southern Standard saying that they thank you very much. We appreciate you putting your money in our towns, because they will always donate like $5,000 or so against, for the petitioning against the putting of the liquor store, and so
The
they'll
referendum,
donate
yeah.
it to the
Right.
to the different churches and
Yeah.
and things like that to keep the referendum, to keep it down,
Right.
to keep
That way
from voting it
benefits their
in.
benefit.
Right.
Wasn't the vote the vote this time was a huge margin? Like it wasn't last time. It was barely. You said 15 votes.
Yeah, 15 votes.
This
came
time
out.
it was like 100 or more votes. Like it was a big difference. I'm pretty sure, for example, it was like 300 to 200.
Wow.
Like it was a big margin. I remember reading the paper about it. It
Incredible.
was just absolutely incredible.
Something else.
Yeah, definitely a historic occasion.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's to think back now. Somebody asked me, they came out this past weekend, and it's wonderful. You know what a social person I am, and I never meet a face that I don't just enjoy talking with and laughing with. And I'm a big cut up, so I really enjoy people, and I have a good time. And so I like to laugh and cut up with everybody. And you don't have to drink. Like I said, you do not have to drink. One lady came out, and her son would not come out. She needed something, razzmatazz, some kind of
Something like a
liqueur or
rum
something.
cake or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes, and she would not. She said, "I am so embarrassed, and I hope nobody sees me here." And I know the lady very well. And she started laughing. She said, "But my son wouldn't come in and get it for me." She said, "Mama, you got to go out there." And so she came in, and she was laughing about it. And she said, "I hope nobody sees me out here." And we were laughing. And I said, "Honey," I said, "you don't have to be like that." She said, "I know." She said, "But I'm making a rum cake, and I need some ingredients." And so we have a lot of that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to imbibe,
My next
right?
question, actually.
Uh-huh.
How often do you get that? Because
We get that.
Christy cuts my hair. Christy
Uh-huh.
Ross cuts my hair.
Yeah.
And she was talking to me about when they put the article in the paper.
Right.
And getting the picture and taken, what a big ordeal that was.
That's
'cause
the
you had
honest
so many
truth.
people
Yes.
just throwing their hands up like, oh, no.
Christy was the third person actually in line, so it actually worked out very well because she was such an advocate to get this bill passed.
I was
And,
too.
yeah.
As much
Right.
as I could be.
And obviously, you're not a drinker either, son.
No,
You don't.
I'm 19, and then
and
whenever
you're
I turn
not
21.
you're not for it either. But
Not
you
so
are
much.
logical. You appreciate the tax dollars, the school
Yeah.
money, the roads.
That 1.2, 1.3 million could go
Right.
towards so much in town.
Right,
Especially
and
in this time. There's
you
a
do,
lot of
you,
projects.
you don't advocate
Yeah.
drinking. You never have, and like I said, so you don't have to be a drinker, to
Right.
come to the store. We sell all kinds of stuff, just fun things, and stuff for cooking. We have cooking sherry, ports, and all kinds of things. But it was funny. Christy did come in, and she was the third person in line because she was talking with my partner, and she the first person said, if I remember it correctly, he said. James Clark from the Standard said, "Do you want would you like to have your picture made?" And
remember. That's what
and the
she
guy
was
said,
telling me
"No, I'm not getting my picture made for the
I remember
paper."
that. I was there for the opening.
Yes, you were. You were actually the first customer.
I was
You
I
were
was
the-
technically
the first customer.
I was technically the first digital customer,
Customer,
with
yes.
a debit card, and then I had like $2, and I was like, I'm gonna be the first customer for the meme of it.
Yes.
And then I was technically the first customer, not the
Uh-huh.
first liquor sale, which
Right, not the
completely
first
different.
liquor sale.
Yeah.
So he
So
he,
I
he
tried-
bought a Mountain Dew, and so he was our first. Elisha was our first customer. My son was our first customer.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so the first liquor sale, then the guy says, "No way, I'm not getting my picture made at the liquor store." And then the second guy was probably in his 60s, I think. And he says, "Would you like to have your picture made?" And the guy says, "Absolutely not." He said, "I don't want my mama to know I'm here." That's the honest to goodness truth. I'm thinking, "Guy, you're 60-something years old. Cut the cord. Break free."
All up out of the grave.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that's so
anyway,
funny.
and then so it was very, very fitting that Christy was in the band. She said, "You're absolutely 100% on that I will." And it was also very fitting that she got a bottle of Jack Daniels, which is made here in Lynchburg, which coincidentally enough is another dry county, which is hysterical.
It is hysterical.
So-
It's like where they.
Strange thing.
I
It really
know.
is like that county, and then the county where they make George Dickel.
Uh-huh.
It's also a
Dry
dry
county.
But the way they can sell bottles at the actual, distillery
Distilleries,
is by putting a commemorative label on it
as a gift.
as
yes.
a gift.
Whatever you gotta do.
Right.
It's really
Whatever
funny.
you gotta do.
But yeah, I had another question, but I've already forgotten what it was. It was
Huh.
a good question too.
Well, if you're curious about what all it took, is me and my partner Mike, we have been friends for over 20 years, I guess. I've known him longer than I've known you, Angel. Anyway, I knew him before you were born. And but anyway, so we decided we were just hanging out, and we decided this would be such a great idea because quite frankly, I was very surprised that some of the older, longtime citizens, that perhaps maybe have a lot of money or investment potential or whatever, or some of our foreign friends maybe that who have a lot of money or investment potential may get right on this.
Yeah, you
And,
saw the business idea behind it. No one had done it before.
Right.
And if it passed, then that was, open gate. You
Such
can
a-
go towards
Yeah.
it.
Exponential potential.
Oh yes,
Definitely, yeah.
absolutely.
And I think
Exponential.
we are recording this September 10th, around dinner time. Getting hungry.
right.
There's like 4 or 5 more liquor stores that are probably going to open up. In
Well,
Manhattan.
3 have gotten their
3 have gotten theirs.
licensure. Yes,
Okay,
they have
so
been
that's-
passed, and so I think they'll be they're the foreign friends I mentioned. I think, and
That licensure process was quite a
oh
thing
goodness
from
gracious,
what Elisha
yes.
was telling me.
So yes, my partner and I both work full-time positions. I work for Dr. Roan at Roan Eye Practice, and
Shout out to
nice
Dr.
plug
Roan.
for Dr. Roan there. Hello. And anyway, a shout. And my friend also has a full-time job, and so he and I, when we would get finished, we would meet and we would fill out paperwork in triplicate most of the time.
I remember like every other time I saw you
yeah,
guys.
you were still living at home. then.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
Whenever the process started.
Ooh.
Here's an idea of how long the process took. I moved out and have been living on my own for about 3 months. Is how long the process took for you guys just to get the paperwork done.
Yeah, it took us 4 months to actually, and that was working. It was every every
minute you
minute, every one.
Yeah.
And then when he and I would be off, we would be together that whole day and whole night doing paperwork. And it required every dime. You have to show every dime that you loan. We had to get our loan papers. We had to have a recommendation from the bank president, and then any monies, actual monies that were put into it, we had to have paperwork showing where the actual money came from. To show that we were not laundering money.
Right,
Embellishing.
embezzling.
Yeah,
Right.
embezzling
Yeah.
anything.
And so that's, so it's very tricky. And so, it's something else. And so we got the city background check and the state background check and then the Homeland Security background check. And
Now, was that for the liquor license,
yeah.
or was that for a business registration?
for the liquor license.
Yeah, I
'cause
figured
you have
that's
to go
what the-
before the ABC,
yeah.
I don't
the
think the
ABC
business-
board. And
Yeah.
the business
Process is
part
quite
was,
not that.
right. It was very
Not quite
simple.
that bad.
And so everybody was so incredibly friendly to us, and we had a great time doing it. And somebody actually asked me over the weekend at the store. They said, they were asking, and I love telling the story because I'm so proud of it now. Mike and I both are. And they said, "Would you do it again?" And I was like, "In a New York minute," because it was just incredible.
Yeah.
Especially
It was
now that you know how to do it.
right now that I know how to do it. And so would I open another one? Well, that remains to be seen. But
We haven't gotten that far yet.
You're right, but we have had such wonderful support, and something else we're really proud of is we're American owned, and we're just tickled to death about that because this is the American dream coming true.
Right.
We've started. I told Mike the other day we were getting ready to leave, and we were just dog tired because we built a store. The store was absolutely gutted. It was at where the old volunteer pools.
That's what I was going to
were.
ask.
Yeah,
I was assuming
yeah,
that's where
the
it
old
was.
volunteer pools was. They were there for a long time, and they moved out on the Smithville Highway, and so there was nothing there, and so we took it from an empty shell, and he built cabinets and shelving, and so it was blank. Everything came from our heads, from no paperwork, nothing, no shelving, nothing. And now we have this full liquor store with sodas and stands.
Yeah, it's
and,
full too. Like
and it's
definitely
just,
a sight to see.
Oh, it is. It's a sight to behold. I'll encourage you, even if you don't have anything to do with alcohol or anything, come in, buy a soda. You don't have to buy anything. If you just want to see it, come and look at it. Because I'm proud to give you a tour.
Right.
Come and look at it because
Rightfully so.
it is, to me, it is the American dream because it was started from nothing, and now it is you've seen a dream come true, an
Yeah.
American dream come true.
And just in a matter of like a few months.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was a long, drawn out process.
5.5
everything.
months at this point.
When did you guys actually open? Like open?
We opened on July 28th. It was a Friday, and that was our opening day. July 28th. Very fine.
Definitely a great.
Oh, it's a
starting
wonderful,
topic.
yeah, and it is an historical event, and so we made history there, and we really didn't, because we were so exhausted from doing all that. We really kind of until we started getting phone calls and stuff from newspapers and stuff like that. We really didn't realize the historical magnitude
How big
of
it
it.
actually was.
Right.
It's like, well, we're just going to do this.
Right, we're going to do this and see if we can make a go at it and see if we can make a buck or two, and see how that goes, and hopefully leave you kiddies there, Elisha, some dollars,
I'll take some coins.
Yeah,
I'll
there you
I'll take the leftover
If you
coins.
have to, right?
Right.
I mean, if I gotta.
Twist my arm a little.
if you have to leave me an inheritance, I'll take one. But anyway, but it was funny. Dr. Ron said, "Well, I probably won't have to worry about you now." So I hope he's right. But yeah, so and then the historical aspect of it did kind of just like, wow, this is very historical. So very exciting, pretty good stuff. And so on our T-shirts, then we got our T-shirts, and it says "Somewhere Liquors" is the name of it, and it says American owned and operated. Again, we're very proud of that. And then I can't remember who suggested. I think one
The
of
name Somewhere
one of
Liquors?
you. No, I remember. Remember, we were all
Yeah.
me and you.
We
and
had, like, it
Mike
was
and our
the brain
and your
trust.
sisters.
The brain trust.
You know.
It was like a Saturday night. We're all just like yelling names back and forth.
Yeah.
like yelling at each other. That name is the worst name. What's wrong with you? Like that was going on for like a couple hours.
And then I was outvoted. You guys all thought Somewhere Liquors was awesome.
Yeah, there's a couple names that like were real winners.
I liked the Broken Bottle,
Broken
which
Bottle.
I thought was funny.
I said that the Broken Bottle sounded too much like an actual bar.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
you have to be very clear that like
Yeah.
you cannot drink in the store. Like,
Right.
That's
Yes. No.
they're very adamant about that law.
Yes, it's a packaged liquors, and there's no public restroom. So we learned a lot during this. There's no. And
There's
of course
a lot
I
of
never,
laws behind it too.
lot
Like
of
they're
strange.
I'm pretty sure it's Tennessee that's like has
Pretty strict on
the
that.
most like
Very
laws for things like that.
Yes, they absolutely frighten you to death. You know, when you go, the ABC board has you know a whole package of stuff you have to know, and there's no public restroom, and you think, well, that's kind of odd. But then you think, well, you know, they don't want any minors to come in and you know
Sneak
pick up
into
a
the
bottle
back or
right
anything,
and
right.
go to the restroom and you know scarf a bottle of something down. You know, so it makes sense in the end. But you know, you kind of wonder.
And you also
we
you're
have
like,
lottery
Up
now.
front, it
so
just
like-
seems a little strange. You know?
It does.
It does, and you think like, oh, we'll just put a camera in the bathroom then if
Right.
anyone doesn't look like.
But then you can't
That's
do
all.
that.
But then that's an ethical thing, which is
Right.
also illegal in a lot of places.
Right.
Like, well,
so you don't
know,
want to do that.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of like
Peeping in
a
the
lot of bumps in the road that like you
Mm-hmm.
have to watch out for going down the road
Yeah.
to the hashtag liquor business.
And something else that we understand because of different laws that have changed is now we have a beer cave. And from what we understand, I think just shortly before, you could not sell beer and liquor in the same place. I don't know how recent change that has been, but so we have a nice beer cave that we built. And
It's
so,
stuck at 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's at
It's
0
cold.
Celsius. Yeah, it's real nice.
Yeah.
Definitely in the middle of the summer too, like it being 101
Yeah.
one day in August. People are like, oh, it's so nice in there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look
Our,
around.
our
Go in the park
distributors,
area,
yeah.
saunter in.
So cool.
Our distributors will unload, you know, cases of stuff, and then they'll say, "While you're checking that off, I'm going to go stand in the beer cave." So they're like, help yourself," because it's so nice and cold in
Right.
there. But it's really neat. But we've got, you know, all the cameras and all that stuff. So if anybody's getting any fishy ideas out there, we have more cameras there than you can see.
Sneaky peepers on you.
My producer from the television station said he's standing there and he says, I know how many cameras I see. How many do you have? And so I told him, and he says, wait a minute. No, you don't. I said, oh, yes, I do.
Oh yeah.
See that bottle over there?
It's actually a camera. You think it's vermouth, but it's a camera.
You see that orange in the basket? Cut open.
It's got a camera in it.
Pac-Man. Wah, wah.
But it's definitely been a learning experience. I also learned a new word out of it. You have to be of high moral turpitude.
What in the world is
Right
turpitude?
on.
Sounds like turpentine.
It
Right.
doesn't like turpentine.
So Mike and I found out that we are apparently turpitudous in a positive way.
Turpiduous.
Right. Oh, turpiduous. I'll have to look that one up and see. I'll bet that's the correct pronunciation of it. Turpiduous.
I
So
think it is.
I like turpiduous or turpitudous.
Turpitudous? Turpiduous? I have no
Turpituous.
idea.
But anyway, we are
What does turpitudous mean?
High moral character, basically.
Why did okay.
That's what I
It's one
thought.
of
Why
those where
didn't you
like,
say
grease up your
those?
mustache and you know, curl up.
Right. Yeah, you curl your
Put in your
mustache.
kerchief in your pocket.
Yeah, you curl up your handlebar mustache. say
And
it
you
correctly.
must wear a
Throw in your
monocle.
bowler and your monocle.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you have to have a monocle to
Saunter
say
on down the lane.
of high moral turpitude. So apparently we are of high moral turpitude because we now have a liquor store.
Let's do it real fast. Okay, Google. What does turpitude mean?
Turpitude, depravity, wickedness.
Wait, it says depravity and wickedness. All right, that's
Yeah.
the wrong one. I want that one. No thanks, Google.
Well, I think that did have to do with it.
High
Yeah.
moral turpitude? High moral wickedness?
Okay, we are low. However, we passed the turpitude test in a favorable way. I'll say that. So
Whichever way the turpitude pendulum swings.
yeah, we swang in
in
the
the
right
necessary
direction.
That was a dumb bit. That was a dumb bit. I didn't like that one.
It worked out very well for us.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever way you're supposed to be on the turpitude scale, we passed.
Well, that's definitely amazing.
Yes, very much so.
Good word regardless.
The proud. Very
so
proud.
so we are very proud, and I hope you children are proud, and thank you all for helping us out so much. But it was very fun choosing the name, and y'all were a big help to us, you and your sisters. A lot of fun.
I've given you about $10 for
Mountain
Doritos
Dews.
and a Mountain Dew.
And now I bribe you whenever you come out there. Lush, if you'll carry this case for me, I'll buy you a Mountain Dew.
He just rubs his hands together.
He's like, okay, Mom, I'll do it for nothing, but I will take your Mountain Dew for tomorrow morning. So.
I'm trying to drink those less. Like, it's funny to like say I'm trying to drink less. Like, I drink a gallon of water every day, and I have for a year and a couple months.
It's rather ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
It's rather ridiculous to watch.
It is ridiculous to watch because if you ever see me in real life, I just carry like a milk jug gallon of water around like everywhere I go. Oh, speaking of the gallon of water, the bottom where they're like glued together in the factories, the bottom broke while we were camping.
Oh.
So I have to get a new one. I have to get a new jug whenever I get dinner tonight.
Well, you know they say don't reuse your plastic.
Well, the way you can do that, the label on them for the expiration date is actually for the plastic, not the water inside of it.
I did not realize
water
that.
has a hard time expiring, and if it does, you know when it's expired. So the plastic is 100% the thing that expires. Like it says, expires, October 17th, 2017. It's for the plastic, not for the water.
I did not realize that. Is that because the plastic is PABA? PABA?
Yeah, sometimes that. Sometimes they're made to where they're supposed to be sold quickly. Like if you go to some places, they have 1 month on the plastic, and you taste the difference too. Like, which I've gone more than that. Probably not good for me, but young. I'm a young boy, but like oxygenated water. Like if you pour a glass of water and leave it out overnight, wake up the next morning, you taste the top layer of oxygen because the molecules change due to oxygen. Mm-hmm. But if you do that like inside of a gallon jug and you close the jug, you taste the plastic. You taste like a weird, if you ever bitten like down on a chocolate bar still inside the plastic, it tastes kind of like that, but water and not chocolate. Like it's a really weird flavor. Like you definitely have to
kind of
know.
Aftertaste to it.
Yeah, it has like a weird aftertaste.
I have tasted things before or had things. I think that's why I like my sodas in a
flavor
in
water
a can.
Yeah,
because you've tasted stuff before.
Aluminum does a lot better for leaving no weird taste in anything.
I don't like stuff that tastes like plastic.
See, I don't either. Oh, I tried oral rehydration salts.
What's that all about?
Oral rehydration salts. Technically, if you have some kind of illness where your stomach's upset, diarrhea or whatever, that's when you need to be rehydrated and like you get electrolytes back. I thought since I have a dry mouth all the time due to sinuses and being born poorly.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. I don't think you could help that. I figured
those darn genetics.
Those darn genetics.
Hey, that came from the other half.
I'm 6 foot tall and beautiful, but my mouth's dry every once in a while.
You got the beautiful part for me. Thank goodness you weren't short. Like me.
But I read a thing that a lot of the armies in the European Union have flavored oral rehydration salts, so they're not carrying around 3 gallons of water a day. Like a lot of Spanish special forces and German and French special forces have oral rehydration salts. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'll just buy a pack, see what happens. You put 1 packet in 1 liter of water, and it tastes like salt water.
Oof.
And I'm an idiot because now I can't drink it because it tastes like salt water.
Disgusting.
So now I have a pack of 14 oral rehydration salts.
I thought you bought a pack. You bought a case?
I bought 1 box that had 15 packs.
Ooh.
And now I have 14 packs of salt.
There you go, Amazon.
What's wrong with me?
Amazon review. Good, bad for water.
Oral rehydration
Good for
salts.
slugs.
Guess what? They taste like salt.
Who'd have thunk it?
Not me. Because I watched a video where the guy said, ooh, this one has a lemon flavor too. It's weird, but it tastes good. I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder if they all do that.
Did you buy a flavor?
No.
Elisha.
I bought packets of salt.
You could have just used table salt.
We're canceling the podcast due to me eating salt. Due to me drinking salt.
What a boy.
What a goofy man.
What a goofy boy.
I don't know.
Well, we have 2 minutes left, so let's close this sucker out, Ethan.
First, we have to talk about it.
What, closing it out?
We've done this bit for 30 minutes before we started recording. He's talking about It, the movie. And it took me 15 minutes to know what he was talking
I had
about.
to say it like 15 times.
You had to say like 15
times. Then I had to
times.
explain the joke.
Yeah.
And then it ruined the joke.
Yeah.
But fantastic movie. Highly recommended.
I still haven't seen it. It came out
We'll
Friday.
leave it at that.
So the original It came out in 1990. And it says in the original one, in the fairy tale, like, Pennywise comes every 27 years or whatever. So, 2017's like 27 years later. Mm-hmm. So that makes me wonder if they're going to do that again 27 years later
Well, this
from now.
This one's supposed to be in 3 parts.
Oh,
okay,
I
cool.
did not know
Just
that.
like the original was a miniseries.
Okay,
So
yeah.
this one's in multiple parts as well.
So we're going to
They
get
had-
more than
so
one
this
movie.
one covers from the first section from, the perspective of the kids through when they deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
and then subsequent parts they grow up and they come back and they have to deal with a whole nother set of issues.
Mm-hmm. Huh, that's interesting.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. I definitely do want to see it because I haven't seen the first one.
It's real. The new one does a good job. It's a lot of practical effects. There's a little bit of CGI, but it's
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that people for a long time, like in the early 2000s, went like total CGI.
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings set the precedent for CGI.
which it was done well.
Yeah, exactly.
And it
Jurassic
still
Park.
holds up relatively well.
A lot of Jurassic Park. I think it was like half and half for Jurassic Park was like CGI, and the rest was puppets and practical. Like a lot of the raptor scenes were puppets and practical stuff. And then you know how like in the
New Star Wars. Was a
yeah
lot of
the
practical stuff again.
the
which is great.
prequel trilogy was very CGI laden, and people were like, "Oh, CGI ruins it." The puppets from the 70s and 80s are where it's at. So J.J. Abrams, who did The Force Awakens, was like, "Well, let's do more practical effects then." And so they did, and like you honestly cannot tell the difference between practical and CGI, which is incredible. I'm so glad that films are going back to doing that.
Agreed.
Well, very good. I look forward to hearing. Y'all going to talk about this next week?
Believe so.
The next week.
Excellent.
Next week,
After you need to go see it.
I do need to go see
What?
it. I'm probably going to do that this week,
What is it?
hopefully.
We
What
don't
is
know.
it?
A scary movie.
Ooh.
So,
Well, thank y'all very much for having me on today.
well, thanks for
Glad to
being
have you.
our
Enjoyed
first
that.
guest, Mama.
Well, thank you very much, Angel. Ethan. I don't have a nickname for you, so we'll call you
we'll get
Ethan.
one.
All right. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. And thank you, everyone, for listening to the 5th episode of the Third Opinion Podcast. Mondays at 2
Fridays at 5.
on WCPI 91.3 FM. I've been Elisha Hunt.
And I'm Ethan Duncan.
And I'm Mama.
Thanks
Signing
for,
out.
thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye-bye.